Alright, hey everybody, welcome back again to the channel. This is Smirking Gun Reviews. I'm Rob, and it's Comics Day, so to the week of, what is this, May 16th. The new comics that I picked up this week, little mini reviews for all the books. Again, I don't get individual issues of DC comics. I buy the trades, so I don't review those here, although I am getting a few special DC books coming fairly soon, I think in the next month or two. So they will be included, some of the Brian Michael Bendis stuff that starts with Superman. And I think they got that Batman wedding to Catwoman thing that I might check out as individual issues. So yeah, that's about it. I'll try not to give any spoilers away. To start off with, though, I did miss a few books from last week that I picked up late. So these are some just quick picks on these. So again, these are Marvel comics, nothing against DC, but one thing I was really looking forward to, and I couldn't get it initially. I did a review for Despicable Deadpool 300 last week, but this is the one of the alternate variants of Despicable Deadpool 300. It's kind of like the Where's Wolverine, except it's like Where's Deadpool. He's everywhere, and it's a wraparound cover. Pretty cool. Has like all the different iterations of Deadpool throughout time immemorial. Pretty cool. It's pretty interesting little cover there. Not too many of those I don't think around. Okay, also I have from last week is the New Mutants, Dead Souls number 3. Now, this is just a mini series, but I'm not very impressed with it. I like some of the characters, but it just doesn't. It feels like that movie that was going to be coming out, the New Mutants movie. That's supposed to be kind of like a horror movie, and I feel like they made this book, and then they had plans for this book to tie in with that movie. I'm thinking, well, now the movie's been pushed back till next year, but they still got a book sitting around, and I guess rather than sit on this book for a year, they've released it because it does kind of have these like kind of supernatural horror elements to the story. I am kind of I'm getting it till the end, mainly because there's a Warlock, little bits of Warlock storyline just barely in this. I've always been a fan of Warlock ever since, way back in the late 80s. And then they killed him off during the Extinction Agenda. So I've kind of had a soft spot for Warlock. He was an interesting character, like an alien techno-virus kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, this is not my favorite book in the world. It's not terrible, but it's not really leading towards anything monumental. There's some interesting things that happen, but until it really does something that may affect other books or the overall timeline of Marvel, something that has more impact. If you're not in love with the characters, I wouldn't recommend this book that highly. I wouldn't say rush out and go get it right now. Okay, we also picked up from last week Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man number 304. We got Adam Kubert drawing again, which is cool. This is the start of the No More series, where last week future Peter Parker, or our present Peter Parker, went back to the past to help out, to get information about something that was going to happen. He runs into his old self. His old self basically feels like being Spider-Man's a pain in the ass, so he quits. And so when our present day people go into the future, everything's changed. There is no Spider-Man. A lot of the heroes are dead or arrested. And, it's a storyline that's been done in other books. It's still pretty interesting. Peter's alive and doing other things, and his wife is, wants to get help and, wants to help and everything. So you can kind of see where the story's going. It's pretty good. It's not it's gotten better. I didn't really like the Amazing Fantasy story of them going back in time, and, you kind of knew where it was all going. But it's still pretty interesting. I like it. The cameos are pretty good. The story is pretty fun, so I recommend it a little bit. I mean, if you like Spider-Man, and I do, so. Speaking of more Spider-Man, This is Spider-Man versus Deadpool number 32 that I picked up last week. Love the cover. Spider-Man versus Deadpool is just kind of a silly, fun book. Doesn't really have any big ramifications necessarily in the MCU, in the Marvel Comics universe. They kind of go back and forth. There's like two kind of storylines running concurrent in Spider-Man versus Deadpool. They go through there's a storyline that had to do with like Chameleon and LMDs, and then there's this other story about oldies, about old Peter Parker and old Wade Wilson Deadpool fighting off things. And this is the third part. The third part. What you don't know, like Spider-Man doesn't know that Deadpool is the reason he's in this wheelchair. And it's kind of him trying to make up for it like Deadpool always does, to hilarious, disastrous consequences. That's not a typo either. Here, he really is, that character really is that big in this. And it's pretty fun. I mean, it's not too serious. It's a fun book. I recommend it. I read it just because every once in a while you need a little bit of levity in all the serious books and stuff that are out there. Okay, so now we are up to this week, the books that are out, and I didn't pick up everything. I just got, there's only a couple of books that I missed, and one in particular, but there's a reason I missed it. I didn't pick it up because it's in so close to another issue that's happening that I wasn't sure if I needed to read it I wanted to read them in order to make sure I didn't like read something out of order. It's one of those storylines that interconnect, so I'll let you explain that later. But here we are now at All New Wolverine, number 35. This is the Deadpool variant. There's a lot, like last week I had some Deadpool variants, and because Deadpool 2 and everything, I imagine that's why they've got a lot of these. This is a really fun cover. You got Honey Badger in Deadpool costume with what I'm assuming is supposed to be X-23 as a Wolverine. It's a pretty cool kind of like Disney animation going on there, a little Lilo and Stitch kind of like animation style there. I really like it. The book is really good. It's the Old Man Laura Part 3. Basically, this is the last all new Wolverine issue. They're changing it to X-23, and it's the Old Man Laura storyline ends very fittingly. They're trying to take out Doctor Doom, her, and a group of other female superheroes. And it's done, it's handled and ended very nicely. It's nice that it ended in a future storyline instead of a present storyline so that we can move forward. But very good book, very interesting plot, and I highly recommend picking this one up. I'm kind of upset that they're changing it to X-23, but again, with all the Wolverine stuff that's going on, it's kind of not surprising that they're rebooting it to X-23. All right, so now we've got Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, near soft reboot, issue number 2, where they're fighting the final host. She-Hulk joins the mix in this. Ghost Rider has a lot more. Robbie Reyes is Ghost Rider anyway. Has a lot more play in this. You got a mystery character that you can probably figure out who's gonna be showing up at the end if you kind of, understand a little bit of the lettering. There's not much to say that isn't spoilers. It's a big fight against these things that have come that are taking out the old machines that why can't I remember what they're called? The Celestials. Yeah, the Celestials are falling from the sky dead. And this group called the Final Host is taking them out, and they've got like a secret person with them. It's a good book, it's Avengers. It's a new start for them. I'm enjoying it so far. It's not the best thing in the entire world, but the premise is really excellent. So now we've got Cable number 157. This is the continuing of the Past Fears storyline, where the technovirus has kind of taken on like a form that's hunting down Cable, forcing him. This issue we get a bunch of different Cables from a bunch of different timelines, and we get Nate Gray's X-Men in the mix. This issue actually is kind of just a little bit off from the last book, because in the last issue it was like the Cable we kind of know with Hope Summers, but this is jumping timelines back and forth, and there are little blurs telling you this takes place before this issue and this takes place without that issue. Not unexpected in a Cable book, the time, time traveling and all that stuff. But it's a pretty cool book if you like Cable and you like all that kind of crazy stuff. Highly recommend picking it up. I love Cable, so there we go. Now we are at Captain America 702. Another variant cover. This is a connecting cover. This continues the story of Jack Rogers, I want to say. Steve's descendant, who is in the future, finds out that there's a conspiracy about Kree having sleeper agents. We get a backstory of Cap and Red Skull fighting. Again, the animation in this, it's not my favorite, but the story is really good. You have a maybe cameo from somebody because it takes place in the future, but it's a good book. It's going in an interesting direction, and I believe that they're doing a soft reboot on Captain America as well. So another future story that could, just kind of clean up so that they can start fresh with a new book or series of books. That's what I feel like it's coming down to. But this book is pretty good. I highly recommend it. All right, we got Daredevil 602. This is also a variant cover, the Deadpool cover. This is continuing the Mayor Fisk, Mayor Murdock storyline, where Matt is basically the interim mayor of New York, and he's got the Hand coming, taking out, they're all over New York now, and so he's trying to get a team, the people out there and the people to be safe. It's a really good book, a really good storyline, interesting. I like where it's going. Hopefully they're not. I don't think they're doing a reboot of Daredevil. I really like the art style. It kind of reminds me a little bit of John Romita Jr., who's done like Punisher and stuff like that. Yeah, and I don't really want to give anything away about this. This is a good book. It's just another continuing, fleshing more out this what's possible if Matt Murdock was mayor of New York, and who else would stand to gain from all this? Him trying to figure out why the Hand is there. All right, so let's just speed this along because we're already at 12 minutes. All right, so this is Hunt for Wolverine, the Where's Wolverine cover for Claws of a Killer, issue 1, number 1. This is, again, yes, the variant cover of the wraparound, well, not the wraparound, but the connecting Where's Wolverines. Claws of a Killer is the third book in a 4-book series. This is issue number 1 of that third book series. Claws of a Killer. The first book series was Weapon Lost, which is like a detective story with Daredevil. We've got the Adamantium Agenda that came out last week. That's an Iron Man, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones kind of heist book. And Claws of a Killer now, number 1, is basically Sabretooth, Lady Deathstrike, and Wolverine's son Daken, or however you want to pronounce it. Yeah. Basically, this is the villain story of, if Wolverine's alive, we want to find him so we can kill him because he denied us, us being able to put him in the ground. An interesting concept. It's I don't know why Daken wants to kill him, but I'm not as familiar with his backstory with Wolverine as I am with Sabretooth and Lady Deathstrike. I know their motivations. I don't love the art in this. The cover is great, but the art inside is kind of just boring. But there is a very cool couple of moments near the end that definitely grab me and make me want to continue reading the book. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a panel in here that is very reminiscent of stuff that I've seen in The Walking Dead. So I am curious to see what goes on in the next, continuing this storyline. But of the 3 books so far, Claws of a Killer is my least favorite so far. Not just because of the art, but just kind of because the premise of Sabretooth and all them, they're always fighting each other. They're always trying to kill Wolverine, and now even in death, and they find out maybe he's alive, that they want to go out there and kill him. I would have thought it's supposed to kind of be ironic or something, but their motivations are just kind of, been there, done that. But the end of this book, like I said, does kind of hook me to want to see what happens next. So there we go on that. Okay, this is basically a one-shot. Infinity Countdown, Daredevil number 1. This is basically Daredevil finding out that Turk Barrett, a guy that's just basically a local hood, that he's fought off and on as kind of comedic relief throughout the years, has the Mind Stone. And it's interesting to see, like, the kind of story about a guy who's not big in the Marvel world, finding something this important. And what he does with it, I mean, you kind of expect he wants to take things over. It's an alright book. It's like I said, it's a one-shot. I've looked at what's coming up for the rest of the Infinity Countdown. And Daredevil's storyline only gets one issue. Darkhawk and Captain Marvel, they all get a couple of issues at least. Captain Marvel and Black Widow only get one, and the Champions get two. But yeah, this is a one-shot kind of deal. So Daredevil is kind of, by the end of this issue, not really in it. Like this is just, I guess they needed if they were going to use this character, they needed Daredevil, and that by the end of the issue, it's kind of, you see why they probably wouldn't be doing any more Daredevil issues of this. But if you're into the Infinity Stones and that kind of stuff, after watching Infinity War or whatever, I recommend it. I like the Infinity Stone storyline, especially with the Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff. All right, now we have another. This is a great cover. Punisher number 224. I've been loving Frank Castle and the War Machine storyline here. Now after he's done what Nick Fury wanted him to do, he was supposed to give up the suit. Yeah, that's not going to happen. And now the heroes are kind of like, Frank, it's time to get out of the suit, blah, blah, blah. You know that's not going to go well. I really don't have to say that much, except killings ensue, and superheroes want to take Frank down for not wanting to get out of the War Machine suit. And Frank is basically, fudge you. Trying not to swear this time. But it's a good book. If you like, the idea of Frank Castle in an Iron Man type suit, it's not disappointing. There are some pretty awesome things that happen in this issue. And I can't wait to see where it keeps going. All right, so now we are at another little mini-series. I don't know how many issues this is. We're at Quicksilver, No Surrender, an offshoot of the No Surrender Avengers storyline, where in that book, spoiler alert, that series, Quicksilver appeared to die, saving, everybody that was frozen in that book. This is the Deadpool variant, so, yeah, another Deadpool thing, but, yeah, I just like it. I don't know how many issues this is. It's basically what happened to him after he apparently died. No spoilers here, but Quicksilver's never been my favorite character in the world. I may check out another issue. It's kind of boring to me, but that's okay. Unless and maybe if they keep putting out cool covers, I'll keep reviewing it. But yeah, No Surrender. It's kind of like No Surrender. A lot of kind of nothing happening within Moments of Greatness. Maybe there will be some cool stuff happening, but right now it's just kind of whatever. I got a cool cover out of it, so I don't know if I'll be reviewing anymore. All right, now we are almost done. We've got Weapon H, number 3. I still don't know how I feel about this book. The concept of a Hulkverine is great. We are kind of going through same old territory. Bruce Banner kind of like, I don't want to, I just want to be left alone. People won't leave me alone. We've seen this a million times. But this guy has claws, so yeah. And he also gets attacked by these brood-type creatures. Somebody's been doing genetic experiments with the brood. That's interesting. That's pretty cool. The brood has always been kind of a really creepy, scary thing in the Marvel Universe. It doesn't get used very often. But right now, I'm not that, I love the covers, and I love the concept of a Hulkverine, but his storyline is rather been there, done that so far. And, with Immortal Hulk and Wolverine returning, hopefully this book picks up. It's not terrible. If you like the idea of a Hulkverine, which I do, it's an entertaining read. But so far, nothing, jaw-droppingly amazing has happened yet. Just more of the, trying to keep his mind from hulking out. That's it. That's pretty much it. And some pretty good drawing. And it's kind of violent. A lot of the violence is kind of, off page a little bit. You know, you see the noise, and, you know, like they write the noise, and you see blood splatter, but you don't really see too much gore in this. I mean, it's rated T for teen. Okay, you would have thought this looking like this, that this might be a mature content one, like The Punisher or something, but no. All right, so the last book I have for this week is X-Men Red, #4. Again, Deadpool cover. Telekinetic chimichangas. So it's him as Jean Grey, and I am getting the regular issue of this, but it's got Terry, you know, the all new Wolverine, Terry X-23 on the cover. At the time, this is what I could afford. X-Men Red is building to becoming a good series. With this group that Jean has set up, being kind of like they want to really, you know, bring peace to. With everything that's going on in every other X book, Jean's really trying, except there's this bitch named Cassandra Nova who is really messing with everybody in the world, trying to get mutants killed, as usual with the agendas of these people in these books. But Cassandra Nova's got a secret weapon that is surprising. I didn't see it coming. It's not really made to be too much in the book, but you know it's going to have pretty serious consequences, and very interesting how other characters are going to react to this person working with Cassandra Nova, even though it's not really by choice. I'm waiting to see when Gambit's going to join, because basically the team is still coming together, so I'm enjoying watching that her put this special team together. So right now the team is Jean, Nightcrawler, Trinary, who can like control machines. We got Honey Badger in X-23, and Namor, and I believe Gambit in Gentle are still, like, Gentle's just starting to join, Namor just joined. We're still waiting for Gambit, so that'll probably be issue #5. That'd be really cool. But yes, I recommend this book. The one book that I didn't get this week that I should have was the X-Men Wedding Special. But X-Men Gold comes out next week, and I wasn't sure if they were running concurrently or if one came before the other. So rather than accidentally read one that was supposed to be afterwards, I'm going to wait to get to that book and reviewing those two until next week. So otherwise, that was it. If you like this video, if you like my recommendations, or if you have recommendations for me for what books I should be reading, leave them in the comments below. We are at 48 subscribers, 2 more to 50. Once we hit 50, if you check out the Handmaid's Tale videos that I make, we have the contest going. We're at 50 subscribers. I'll be doing a contest that is about the Handmaid's Tale. We're giving away a Handmaid's Tale poster to somebody when we get to the 50 subscribers. I will be describing that in detail on that video. Hopefully, if we can get to 50 subscribers by this week, next week, during the Handmaid's Tale episode next week, I will be giving the parameters of the contest. So anyway, this is Rob from Smirking Gun Reviews. We hope you like this video. You can check out our other ones. We've got Legion, we've got Westworld, we've got more of these, and we've got other stuff coming as well. So thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. And yeah, have a great night. Bye.